I suppose whenever I got the idea first for Soupstone Productions, I was lacking in confidence and know-how about to actually set up a company. So I informally went into an enterprise company, and I suppose over a few months got to know the staff and had my confidence built up, certainly. And what it also allowed me to do was access one of the schemes that the company implemented at the time. So that's how we got started, that's how we got off the ground. It was through the Community Business Programme. And then over the years I've been involved in different schemes. I mean, one of the issues that we had was about how to market the company. Initially that was with the television broadcasters, particularly in Dublin and Galway. And it was as a result of one of the programmes that we had to go down to Dublin that Home Enterprise organised that I first met TG Cahir, met the commissioning editor there. So that began that relationship. Now, we had a lot of work to do to build on that, but the door was basically open. In the last few years, we're getting there with the television work, but what we haven't been able to do is break into the corporate field because it's a completely different culture, it's a completely different language. And as many times as you pitch ideas to a television broadcaster, it's completely different talking to people who are working in construction or whatever field it is. So I realised that I needed to do a bit of training again, so I went on one of the schemes again through my enterprise company. They allocated a mentor to me who had experience in marketing. Over a period of about 2 months, we met regularly. I developed a presentation. As a result of that, and a pure coincidence, I happened to have to give a presentation in Dublin a few weeks after I'd finished. Gave the presentation, got the job, we've just finished it, so it's our first major client. It's actually a national campaign for the Press Association of Ireland. So as a result of, I suppose, the training I did and the skills that I was being given over those workshops, we were successful. I think the biggest problem for anybody going into business, no matter what their background is, no matter how many relevant skills they have, is the confidence thing. It's a huge step when you go from employment. As much as you complain about it and as much as you don't like it, the security of having that check at the end of the month is hard to beat. And when you have to actually take that first step of going into self-employment where nothing is guaranteed, okay, you don't know where the next job is coming from, that for me is the biggest step for any company. But if you're willing to do that, and if you can access the skills and the know-how to do that, my enterprise company are very, very good at helping you with those skills and giving you that know-how. Once you do that, give yourself a few months to get over the bumpy start. It's incredibly rewarding. Motivation is not a problem. You know, you don't finish at 5 o'clock because you don't want to finish at 5 o'clock, because at the end of the day, it's all about your company and your profile, not just as a company, but your profile as an individual, because, you know, people sort of recognize ultimately that you're driving this company forward, and I think that does your confidence a lot of good. About 6 years ago, we were at a stage where we were just finishing the Community Business Startup Programme. As it happened, I was talking to one of the members of staff in Home Enterprise Company who told me about an event that they were organising in Dublin, which was a cross-border event. Now, as it happened, TG Cahir, who I was very, very interested in meeting, were at that event, and I arranged a meeting with them through Home Enterprise Company. I didn't have anything to sell. I had no production ideas or no programme ideas, but I met a guy called Micheál O'Malley, who's now the head commissioning editor, and I suppose that was the start of a relationship that I've been building up over the last 8 years, and as I said, it's resulted now in our second full commission with that company. I honestly think that for anybody thinking of setting up their own business, that when you really think about it, is a huge step, because you're sacrificing so much. You're sacrificing security, you're sacrificing particularly if you've got bills and mortgages and whatever, and if you've got a family, which I don't have, I just can't begin to imagine how difficult that is. I think you need somebody to hold your hand through that process, particularly for the first 6 months, but then maybe for 2 or 3 years after that, until you really find your stride. And for me, Home Enterprise Company, because I live in the area, because I'm rural based, they provided that service. The future, I haven't thought too far ahead. We've sort of established ourselves in the broadcast market now. We're doing regular work for RTE and TG Cahir, so I'm not overly worried about that. The corporate work, I would like to have a stable of corporate clients that I actually believed in. I've just finished a project with a big corporate client. They are a rural-based client, even though they're a national client, and it was very, very rewarding for me trying to communicate their message, basically that rural-based issues are important and are relevant to the broader population. So I've really enjoyed it, and I suppose for me the future is obviously still paying the mortgage at the end of the month, but but picking jobs that I'm really interested in, and I find that if I pick jobs that I'm really genuinely interested in and find challenging, the work itself is better as a result of that. So that for me is the goal.